K-Flock, one of the most popular wines coming out of New York City, has gotten himself into a situation I'm not quite sure if he can get himself out of. Now, K-Flock was a rising New York artist who was pretty much the poster child for Bronx drill. 808 beats, spinning blocks, killing ops, and to many people, K-Flock was like the King Von of New York City, who inherited the name Amiri Assassin and Montclair Menace after killing an op in a broad-day self-defense murder. K-Flock comes from 187th in the Belmont area in the Bronx, and he grew up with Dougie B and B-Love, the Brotherly Love trio. Now, with Brotherly Love being one of the hottest and most disrespectful drill songs come out of Bronx drill, but what made K-Flock so popular and even want to stand out? Now, the answer is the reality behind his raps. These weren't fabricated stories from other people's point of view. It was real-life stories of K-Flock himself spinning blocks, and it can be seen on social media. Now, K-Flock was really like that, point-blank period, and K-Flock single-handedly destroyed the light-skinned stereotype of being soft. He was an aggressive, shite-shit-up YN and had that behavior and bravado. But unfortunately, that I don't give a fuck bravado would be the reason why he's in this situation today. As on December 16, 2021, K-Flock was walking outside of a barbershop in Harlem with a younger relative who seems to be his sister or his cousin, and an OY member, Oscar Hernandez, spotted him and started following him, and they engaged in a few words. Now, K-Flock, still talking shit, tried to disengage because he's with a family matter, but Oscar Hernandez kept following him, and K-Flock had to defend himself with deadly force. After Hernandez got close, K-Flock, Mr. Up in Fashion, had no choice but to back up the Thule and shoot him in the chest, which killed him, and he fled the scene. Now, less than a week later, K-Flock turned himself in on December 23rd of 2021 to face a state murder. But less than 2 years later, that state murder returned to a 2023 federal RICO charge, with a murder being a part of the RICO. And in 2025, the state murder trial is underway. Now, originally, it was a state murder trial in the state of New York City where the murder took place. And honestly, it was something that K-Flock may have been able to beat off on a manslaughter. Now, if you look at the way the whole situation transpired, K-Flock really wasn't the aggressor in the situation. He's walking with a family member. Someone tried to press him. K-Flock wasn't going. He tried to wave them off, but the person just simply wanted to smoke. So he had to do what he had to do to protect himself and his family. Now, the reason why this wouldn't fly, or should I say K-Flock has a hard time getting out of this, is because this is New York City, one of the biggest metropolitan areas ever in the world. We have Wall Street, we have downtown Manhattan. There's so many places in this city where business is done and millions of dollars. You have the stock exchange. Millions of dollars are ran through this one city that is very big. So they can't have people walking around with guns like it's the Wild Wild West. People will have guns in every city. Criminals will find weapons in every city. Gangsters will be gangsters. But in New York City, unfortunately for K-Flock, he's not allowed to have a gun. So even though in a moral setting, or should I say a moral setting, him protecting himself will be morally acceptable, legally, it's not right. K-Flock's murder trial, should I say K-Flock's RICO trial, is exposing even more dead skeletons than we even knew. As originally, we just thought K-Flock was facing the judge and the jury because they were convicting him of killing someone in a city where he shouldn't have had a gun, which we know, okay, yep, that shouldn't have happened. But recently, within the last couple of days, it's been exposed that one of K-Flock's own mans, his big homie who's at the big age of 30, actually snitched on him after K-Flock slid for him. But first, before I get into that, I want to talk about why the state murder turned into a federal RICO, because the state simply had a weak case. It would have been really hard to convince 12 jurors that this person who was seen walking with a younger lady, a younger cousin, a younger sister, killed someone out of malice. When you can clearly see he was being followed, he turned around, he engaged in some words, he tried to disengage the situation. If this were anywhere else like the South, Georgia, Florida, Texas, K-Flock would have been out. He wouldn't be in jail. But this is New York City where different rules apply. Now, the reason why K-Flock's mans, or should I say big homie, telling him was very sad and just like disheartening is because K-Flock is really about that life. And originally the story that happened is K-Flock's big homie actually got shot at, and K-Flock spun for him. When we listen to K-Flock, I'm a fashion, I bet I'll still up it. All these vigorous, aggressive rap lyrics that were thought like, man, he's capping. I don't think anyone who looked at K-Flock or ever seen a picture of K-Flock thought he was capping. Everything about K-Flock screams, I'm like that, and he showed it and wrote for his own mans, and his own mans told on him. The AUSA, which is a federal prosecution, was started to cross-examine, which is the victim, which is Vance Brockington, which was later exposed. After you got shot, who called you to the hospital? Brockington. KK. He said, we got you, bro. Question, KK is the defendant? Yes, he was going to retaliate to the person who shot me. The fact that you're getting shot and you have someone younger than you. I used to always hear stories about people who were older who would have YNs crash out for them, and people like, yo, all you old guys who have young guys with futures ahead of you crashing out for them are suckers. And I'm thinking like, man, maybe that's the streets. But no, this is sucker mentality because you're having a young person who you know was going to do something for you. And then honestly, I don't know this Vance Brockton person, but I'm assuming he may have got caught up in his own drama with the police where he had to at least snitch, get out of it. Because there's no way that you willingly went forward to the police to get yourself out of the situation. Like, there's just no way. Then the AUSA goes, they did a shooting in retaliation for you. Brockton said somebody was grazed in the face. You pled guilty to this? Yes. Did you see the defendant with a gun? Yes. He was arguing on live with someone. Arrival? Yes. A van was circling the block. Have you spun the block? Yeah. 196 in Briggs. Before that with Boo Boo. Did you say boom? No, a boo. This guy's dropping locations. He let them know what bike they're using. This is nasty. This is actually very sad. But what made this situation so sad is, and this is how I look at it, I look at RICO charges like a reverse parlay. Now, if you were to bet in basketball or football on a parlay, a 3-4 leg parlay, you need all 4 legs to hit for you to get your money. But when it comes to RICO charge, you just need 1 leg to hit. If you can prove that K-Flock was involved in conspiracy to push further into the gang, he's going to jail. If you can prove that K-Flock did a retaliation murder for someone, because I believe at some point actually died from that, he's going to jail. If you can prove that K-Flock killed someone in self-defense, which we've seen on camera, he is going to jail. Like, a RICO is literally a reverse parlay. All you gotta do is score 1 basket and you have 4 tries. Like, it is literally impossible to beat. I'm not a street figure, but I do listen to street music, so I know how it works. Looking at it from a moral standpoint, you have someone who slid for you. You are older, and you told on him. That is wrong. Now, what makes it even worse is that K-Flock, like I said, is already fighting a murder charge under federal guidelines. If K-Flock is found guilty, the mandatory minimum will be life in prison. The mandatory maximum is a death penalty, And just being honest, K-Flock is not going to get the death penalty because, bro, we saw what happened. It was your life or his life. And I'm not going to act like I'm a gang member saying I'd rather see free K-Flock than RIP K-Flock. But, yo, K-Flock was a promising star. His music was good. I feel like his music was so good because everything that he said was real. Like, we believed it. We saw the videos. We saw the arguments on IG Live. We saw the back between D-Thang. We saw the Rolling Loud incidents. K-Flock's life has pretty much been broadcasted in front of us for the past 3-4 years. And it really sucks that his life is really going to be altered forever, pretty much eternally, off a decision that he may have made when he was 18. Now, of course, when it comes to court of law, you say, oh, if this was me, this is why I did it. Like, when you have a good defense attorney, which K-Flock has, which is El Chapo's lawyer, you're never going to admit guilt of like, oh yeah, that was me. It's always, well, if that was me, this is why I did it. Well, if that was me, what led to so-and-so doing this? Like, we're always going to play the fence and say that wasn't me and push away from opposition. From analyzing this whole case, man, I hope K-Flock comes home. I can't act like I'm ignorant and I don't understand how the law works because I know it's going to be very hard. Not only was he facing the murder charge that was going to be hard for him to beat because he had a gun, which was illegal. They shouldn't have had in the murder. It's like he had an illegal gun and he killed someone with it. That's already a problem. Then he has someone else who is testifying on him for another related incident that he spun for him because he got shot and he wanted his man spin for him and then he told. I'll be honest, ladies and gentlemen, the streets are over. Go to school, start a business, stay with your family. It's looking rough out here.